What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, the Black Hand of the Black Door. Your access has been granted. Today, we're going to be doing part 2 of Al Edwards' mock draft picks. So go on, holler at the world, let them know what's up, man.
Man, I got a lot of feedback off my first one, right? And basically what they were telling me, it was too quarterback heavy. And after looking at it, I have to fucking disagree. Because every quarterback that I assigned to a team needed a team. Well, the team needed a quarterback. You know what I mean, right?
Okay.
Alright. Now, I might have stretched a little bit with Derek Carr. Or is it David? Whatever Carr is.
Derek.
God damn it. I might have stretched a little bit with him. But other than that, every team needed a quarterback. I was doing a responsible thing. Alright? I wasn't doing... I was doing team needs, and I feel like these teams needed QBs.
Okay, here's my first deal. I don't disagree with you that teams need quarterbacks. It is a quarterback-driven league, and every team needs a good quarterback. But with the pop, like the trends that we've seen with the past few drafts, you can get quarterbacks later, especially now that they're not as expensive. Where we'll never see another Sam Bradford like contract for a number 1 overall pick. So.
Yeah, but at the same time, most people were telling me that the Browns could have held off of getting a quarterback and could have got your boy Teddy Bridgewater at their second pick, which was like what 22nd or something like that. They were telling me that they could have held off and got Teddy Bridgewater just because Teddy Bridgewater had a bad pro day, which I don't feel like that made that much of a difference for him to slide fucking 20 slots.
I guess in the common draft era right now, it actually being that they don't feel like any of the quarterbacks are just outright stars. So for him to come out and have a bad pro day, it just further solidifies how they feel about this quarterback draft class. First and foremost, I'm gonna tell you right now, I disagree with your number 1. Johnny Manziel should not go number 1 in anybody's draft.
Why not? Don't just sit here and say he shouldn't. Why shouldn't he?
Because he's not a great quarterback. Now I get it. People like some of the things he brings to the team, like he's a vocal leader or he's got whatever you call it, moxie and all this other nonsense. And there are a lot of leaders like that in the NFL. But there are a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL that aren't like that, and they're pretty successful too. Like Tom Brady. Tom Brady's a vocal leader.
Yeah, he is.
He's got moxie.
I've seen him pissed off plenty of times, yelling to his fucking.
But he's actually been beat twice by Eli Manning, who has none of that. Eli Manning looks like he has Down syndrome all the time.
Eli Manning has charisma. He has spunk.
He's a good kid. Eli Manning has no charisma, no spunk, no anything. Eli Manning is like the consummate nothing. Like if he was an ice cream flavor,
he'd be vanilla.
No,
it's the plainest one.
He'd be cardboard.
That's not a
cardboard. Doesn't taste like anything.
That's not ice cream flavor.
It is an ice cream flavor. I'm not saying like this. I'm not saying a legit ice cream flavor. I'm just saying if I was making it up, it would be cardboard because it tastes like nothing. He's like, yeah, he's
so
nothing.
Basically, he's saying if you go to like Red Robin's or Brahms, where you can get like 100 different flavors, and you choose to stick with a regular like vanilla, that's what Eli Manning is.
Pretty much.
Which I disagree.
Pretty much.
I feel like Eli Manning is extraordinary.
Absolutely not. Sorry, I disagree.
No, I was just fucking around.
I really think that
he's horrible.
I really think
he's the worst. Like he's the worst quarterback with a ring.
With 2 Super Bowl rings, not 1. With 2. He's 2 Super Bowl rings.
But he beat Tom Brady. So
twice.
It's like Tom. What does that make Tom Brady?
It still makes Tom Brady
get beat twice by a nigga who's not nothing. Like you say, he's not shit. So
I'm not saying when I say not shit, I'm not saying that
he's not shit.
I'm not saying that he's not shit like he sucks. I'm saying that when we're talking about,
would you put him in your top 10 of quarterbacks?
No,
I wouldn't either. So he's not shit, and he has 2 rings.
But what I'm talking about is we're talking about character. We're not talking about on the field intangibles. We're talking about just
talking about all around. I just don't feel like he's a leader. I don't feel like he.
But
like Tom Brady would. I see Tom Brady going to the sideline talking shit to his offensive line, trying to pump like, yo nigga, I got hit too many times. Step that shit up. Eli's
a total different. He's the total opposite. But not every quarterback has it. That's why I said like. Just because Johnny Manziel has whatever swag, moxie, or he seems like he's charismatic, he's in your face, that doesn't always spell success. The same things they're saying about Manziel is the same things they said about Tebow when Tebow got drafted high. And you see how that worked.
All right, he's not better than Tebow.
No, he's not better than Tebow.
How is he not better than Tebow?
He can't throw either.
He can throw. What are you talking about?
He can't make.
Like I said, Mike Evans isn't the Mike Evans is a good receiver. Don't get me wrong. But he's not that fast. And for him to he ropes, I'm telling you, he throws dots.
He does not throw dots.
Johnny Manziel throws
jump balls. If you watch a lot, especially in that, I watched that Alabama game. There were more jump balls.
Alabama and LSU was the only two games.
There were more.
That Duke game,
Duke.
He made.
How great
is
Duke? Duke is not great. Oh my God! Everybody brings up the Duke game. Duke fucking sucks.
He made amazing throws.
Against
elite Alabama
level competition, and this is what Johnny Manziel he relies on, the jump ball. You can't rely on the jump ball in the NFL. It doesn't work. Like, not saying that it hasn't worked for a Calvin Johnson, because everybody knows Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, it's Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson. Like,
and that's crazy. Matthew Stafford actually has an arm. Why is he in jump ball situations? He can throw from fucking end zone to end zone. Because he still has jump ball situations.
Because his target can't run routes. Calvin Johnson can't run routes. Calvin Johnson can jump. He can out jump everybody on the field.
All right. Anyway, all right, let's get into,
What's your number 2 pick?
My number 2 pick, it was Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins to St. Louis?
Yeah, to the Rams. Even though I feel like they might need an offensive tackle, but I just feel like they have bullshitted with Sam Bradford for so long that they will finally give him a receiver.
Absolutely. I actually think the Bruce Matthews pick is the one that's going to hold up. I mean, he coached, Jeff Fisher coached his dad. He knows the pedigree. He knows the family. And it's just going to be real, for lack of a better word, it's going to be real comfortable. They're real comfortable with each other. He's going to be able to plug him in at left tackle or right tackle, and it's just gonna work for them. Okay. We don't know how great Sam Bradford is yet, because one,
he hasn't had weapons, and
he hasn't had weapons, and it hasn't had an offensive line. So at this point in time, I think that's a good pick for number 2. What's your number 3?
Blake Bortles was my 3 going to Jacksonville. I split both of them up because I honestly feel like Gus Bradley, I feel like he can. I feel like Blake Bortles would be that guy in the Jaguars. Right? I don't feel like they would take anything. They don't have anything. They wouldn't take offensive linemen to protect a quarterback because they don't have a quarterback. I feel like they need a QB.
I think as far as when we talking top 5, like right now, they would be my first candidate to go for
a quarterback.
But the only problem is 2 of the top 5 teams in the draft are in the same. They're in the same league. They're in the same division with Andrew Luck.
That's what I'm saying. It's either my first pick. It was either gonna be Khalil Mack or it was gonna be Johnny Manziel. Now I said if they take Khalil Mack, it would make sense because the Jaguars are obviously gonna take a quarterback and they have to go against Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck.
So they have to go against those twice a year. You know what I'm saying? So it would make sense for them to get a Khalil Mack, but at the same time, after the year Andrew Luck has had, you know what I'm saying? I feel like people are getting more accustomed to plugging in these rookie quarterbacks. Even though Andrew Luck is beyond his years, I feel like, what RG3 and Ryan Tannehill and all them did, I feel like these guys aren't these top 5. I got Johnny Manziel going, Teddy Bridgewater going, Carr going, Blake Bortles. I feel like they will be able to plug those guys in.
I will say this about your mock draft. If this was 3 years ago, I could see it going that way, especially with the quarterbacks. But in the common draft, with the way the draft is now, especially with the money situation where you don't have to put as much money into a quarterback.
You feel like they can take 1/3 round and play it even less?
Exactly.
I don't feel like they
look at Russell. Look at Russell Wilson.
The only reason Russell Wilson was because he didn't get all 4 years of college football. He went to baseball. Remember, He did what was it, North Carolina State? And then, the Wolf Pack, went to baseball, then came back and went to
I'm just speaking from the standpoint.
And he's little. He's not above 6 foot.
I'm not saying I'm not talking about his actual play on the field. I'm just talking about
just him dropping.
No, him dropping and like I said, the value of the quarterback is not as high draft wise as it was. Not that the value of the quarterback itself has gone down. I'm just talking about draft position wise, where it's not as expensive to draft a quarterback. So you might have to take him number 1 because it's that expensive and that's your investment. So seeing as how you can wait, I don't see that many quarterbacks going in the top. I think number one is Jadeveon Clowney is gonna go number 1.
Yeah, okay.
And they're gonna put him on the opposite side with J.J. Watt, and
that makes sense.
Indy's gonna have a long day against them, a long day. Now, as far as quarterbacks go, I could see Jacksonville as a prime candidate to take a quarterback first, but they're also in the same division with Andrew Luck, so I see them going.
Khalil Mack
I see them taking Khalil Mack. I see them going defense and taking.
I actually have Khalil Mack falling to the 11th spot. I have him going to the Titans.
I don't see him falling that far. Maybe,
So I have Manziel,
Maybe.
Sammy Watkins, Blake Bortles, Teddy Bridgewater, Clowney going to the Raiders, and then I have Greg Robinson going to.
I'll tell you right now,
to the Falcons.
Jadeveon Clowney is not falling out. Jadeveon Clowney is not falling out the top three.
Super all right. I have, like I said, I have Manziel, then Sammy Watkins, then the next two I have quarterbacks. I feel like those teams aren't going to compete unless they have quarterbacks.
I mean,
what sense is gonna make to have Clowney? All right, I don't feel like Clowney's gonna go to like the Browns or nothing because I feel like the Browns defense is there.
Well, you know, and when we talking about defense, the Seattle, they already proved that you can never have too many pass rushers.
No, not at all. But at the same time, he's gonna be that guy. Like I don't feel like he's gonna be a situational pass rusher. I feel like they're gonna make him.
Which is why
a 3-down player.
I see him going number one. I honestly, his intangibles and his athleticism.
It makes sense. Him 3 downs with along, you know what I'm saying, JJ Watt. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is the same, pretty much the same team with the same defensive players besides like fucking Danielle Manning and a couple other defensive players. I feel like it's the same exact team that was there not too long ago with some additions and DeAndre Hopkins, who I feel like is nasty. And I feel like all they need is a quarterback. 2 years ago they went from a Super Bowl pick to now where they're in the first. We
know Houston needs a quarterback.
They need one.
It's not the fact of whether they need one because we know Houston need one. It's just all about when they're gonna take one. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you know, let's say you pick Johnny Manziel and you bomb on Johnny Manziel when you could have had Jadeveon Clowney, and you basically ruined the next five or 6 years of the franchise by misfiring on a quarterback, especially
even
in the first round.
If they misfire on a quarterback, that put them in the same boat they're in now, right? Because it was quarterback play that got him here. So I feel like if he's gonna be so much of a bust, it's gonna get him right back, and probably not the first round, but it'll get him right back in the top 5 for another, you know what I'm saying, for another situation like this.
Well, I think with some teams, when you believe in your position players, when your position players are Arian Foster, DeAndre Hopkins, and Andre Johnson, I think sometimes teams believe that you can plug anybody in at the quarterback position. If
that's the case, they must leave Keenum in there.
Keenum didn't do. I mean, he was terrible, but he wasn't that bad.
Bad. He was. Don't get me wrong. He was awful, but he wasn't god awful.
And he was a rookie. So I mean, rookie mistakes. Things happen. So right now, I'm definitely disagreeing with most of you.
You disagree with the whole top 10. So I'm just gonna go into the next.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? 11 through 20.
Let's go to 11 through 20.
That's okay with you. 11. I have Khalil Mack. Like I said, falling into the Titans. All right,
I think that's a good. That would be a very good pick for the Titans as well. But see,
you don't see him falling that far.
I don't see Khalil Mack falling that far, and this is about.
That's only if it goes quarterback savvy in the first 10.
And that's not gonna happen. See, this now around the Titans and everything. This is where I think you might start seeing the teams thinking about quarterbacks because we're not sure about Jake Locker. We don't know how sold.
I'd be more sure with Jake Locker than fucking having Brian Hoyers and shit like that. Fucking going with my team.
Brian Hoyer.
I'm a Brian Hoyer fan.
I'm not.
Like I said, I was like in 9th grade when he was at Michigan State. I cheered for him. I even gave him a nickname, Chips Ahoyer.
There are certain players that awesome. I mean, you even the sun shines on the dog's ass at least once in a day. Right. You know, that's what they say.
So at 12, I have the Giants. I have Jake Matthews. Now I gave them offensive lineman because they have so many positions that need.
Like somewhere. I said, the thing that makes your that makes your mock draft so hard is that you have a lot of the real good positional players falling really, really far. Like
Jake Matthews, that's not falling really, really far. I had Taylor Lewan and I had Greg Robinson going in the top 10.
Jake Matthews right now is projected. He's a projected top 5 pick. So for him to fall all the way to number 12,
I feel like Greg Robinson, unless the Rams take offensive lineman at 2, I don't feel like they're passing up on Sammy Watkins. Another person not gonna need offensive lineman until you get to like the Falcons at 6.
So you don't think they would? So you think that they would pass? That they wouldn't pass on Sammy Watkins?
No.
Even though they took Tavon Austin last year.
Tavon Austin, he's slot. I feel like Sammy Watkins, he has the size and he has the speed to be like he can take off the top of defenses and he goes across the middle. And he has sure hands.
I like it, but I don't love it. I can still see St. Louis.
Like they have Austin Pettis and stuff. They're like 6'3" and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but they're not gonna amount the shit on.
I can see St. Louis pulling the trigger on the Sammy Watkins if he fell to them. But as far as
two, they're at 2. It's not falling. He's at 2.
I don't think so. I couldn't see as a top.
I have Jake Matthews going 12 to the Giants. You disagree? We'll
definitely.
Agree with it. All right, 13. All right, it's the Rams again.
All right,
Sammy Watkins not gonna fall to that 13 pick, so I feel like they need to take him then and there. Now, if Jake Matthews falls even further, I have him going to the Rams. If he doesn't go to the Giants, but since he went to the Giants, I have them getting a defensive player in Ha Dix.
Yeah, they're taking a safety.
All right, I have because fucking they need defensive players.
Yeah.
All right, and especially in their division, so I have them taking Ha Dix at number 13. Like I said, these are all. I feel like as deep as this draft is, I feel like people still need to be responsible with their picks. So I feel like I'm giving people responsible picks. Putting them out there with like T.J. McDonald. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Solidifying that other safety spot.
No.
So all right, you're just saying no. What's wrong with it?
I just don't see it.
All right,
like,
you don't see it.
I mean, with positions like, with positions, when we talking about positions like the safety position and the cornerback positions, like you don't usually see. I'm not saying that Ha Dix isn't a star. He's not Eric Berry.
No,
like, usually we don't see safeties go like that. We don't see safeties go that high unless you're like a standout. Say he's not a standout safety. Like I can see it maybe depending on what their first pick is, but like I said, with a lot of
either that or a corner. It's a DB.
I can see a corner,
so you can see Justin Gilbert or whoever going in at 13.
I could even see them going offense on both picks and going if let's just say, for instance, they were to go Matthew
tackle with the
first pick.
With the second pick in the draft, and then 13 coming back to a receiver. Or
like a Mike Evans or something. If Mike Evans is available.
Yeah, but no, I have Mike Evans going to the Bills number 9.
See?
If you would have looked at my other draft, you know what I'm saying? I know. Hey, all right, let me finish before you start fucking picking my shit apart.
Come on.
All right, 14. I have Calvin Pryor, another safety. I feel like he's a hard hitter. He's hard nosed. You know what I'm saying? He's scrappy. He's like 5'8", 5'9". You know what I'm saying? I feel like the Bears, they always have, you know what I'm saying, that hard mouth defense, and I feel like he would just unite them niggas. All right.
Why not corner? Since they did lose Charles. Didn't they lose Charles Tillman?
No. They brought him back.
Oh, you brought him back?
Yeah,
okay.
They brought him back. All right, so no. But it's only like a 1 year, so. But I have them getting the safety. All right. Number 15, I have the Steelers getting the corner, which just makes sense to me.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Them getting Justin Gilbert at 15. Because if you watch my other one, I have fucking Verrett going to Detroit at 10. Which I feel like is the best corner in the draft. All right. And then number 16, we have Dallas. Now this is tricky. All this shit is tricky what I just named because I don't see Jerry Jones sticking at 16 because he's greedy. I feel like Jerry Jones is going to trade up. But if he stays at 16, I see him taking Aaron Donald. The defensive tackle. Think about the defensive line like this. They don't have Anthony Spencer. Fucking,
we're talking about
Henry Milton, we're talking Aaron about Donald.
I know.
And then they would have, you know what I'm saying, Greg Selfie or George Selfie on the other side.
We are talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones never does what Jerry does. Whatever you think Jerry Jones is gonna do, he doesn't do. I remember last year's draft, he had the opportunity to pick a safety twice
and backed up and got a center. But the center's not bad. Frederick Travis was
he had a third. He was like a third round grade, and he took him in the first.
Second round grade. God damn it! And he was a good pick. He was a good damn pick. What? Yeah, he did. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, this isn't Jerry Jones.
He backed out. Everybody knows safety has been the worst position for the Cowboys. Like even when Roy Williams was there, don't get me wrong, he was great for run support, but everybody knew you could just pass on the Cowboys. You could just chuck it up and kill them. Like, and they yet to like address the safety position in any draft. Like they just continuously keep neglecting the safety position. And I still don't feel
like they're gonna do it this year. But like I said, we don't know because you know what I'm saying, they're at 16. I don't feel like that's high enough for him. I feel like he's gonna trade up. But if he trade up, what stops him not from getting another skilled player? You know what I'm saying? What stops him from not getting a receiver or something that they don't need? You know what I mean? What stops him not from fucking up that draft?
Well, I mean, it's Jerry Jones. It's Jerry Jones.
That's what I said. That right there is just, you know what I'm saying, what I feel like they're going to do. But we all know they're not going to stay at 16. So
touche. We'll agree on that one. I don't believe they'll stay at 16 either.
The
so
Ravens, I feel like the Ravens are going to get another safety because of their safety play from last year from Elam. I feel like Jimmy Ward on the other side.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That'll be decent.
And you don't think linebacker is a need?
I feel like linebacker after looking at this last season, even with the Saints, like how we just had so many. I feel like linebacker is more of a depth position. Like I feel like if you have, you know what I'm saying, situational pass rushers and shit, you know what I'm saying, that you're like at your ends or whatever, aren't they in the 3-4?
Yeah.
Not in the middle. So I feel like, you know what I'm saying, just plugging in like a Martez Wilson or, you know what I'm saying, like somebody fast on the outside, I just feel like they'd be all right. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like the safety position, you just can't plug anyone in. You need somebody that's going to be there 3 downs. And I feel like him and Elam would be decent together.
Okay. What's your next pick?
All right. I have Denard going to the Jets.
To the Jets.
To the Jets at 18.
You don't think the Jets are going to take a receiver? You don't think the
No.
Jets... Why wouldn't they go?
I don't trust D. Milliner. Did you see him last year?
He was terrible in the first half of the season, but I think he ended up.
I don't care if he.
I think he had like 12 pass deflections in one game.
From the games I watched, I seen horrible. I seen horrific.
He was
play.
pretty terrible in the beginning of the year, but I think at the end of the,
I didn't watch them all season.
Yeah,
but from what I've seen, D. Milliner is not what that is.
If I'm not mistaken, I think D. Milliner, even though he had a terrible first half of this, I think he ended up with like this outrageous amount of pass deflections. It was like 30
He's not going to put in what Cromartie put in.
Well, I mean, Cromartie was a seasoned veteran. Cromartie wasn't garbage. He just wasn't.
You can say that, but Marcus Trufant hopped in for the fucking Falcons, and I seen him locking down fucking Vincent Jackson.
Marcus Trufant, at one point in time, believe it or not, Marcus Trufant used to be a shutdown corner. Like, at one point in time, Marcus Trufant was a shutdown.
Desmond Trufant.
Oh, Desmond. Oh, okay.
Because as a rookie, yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, yeah,
Desmond Trufant for the Falcons.
Well,
as a rookie,
a lot of
got
people
in and held 6'5" and up receivers. He held fucking Marcus Colston.
Okay.
He held Vincent Jackson. You know, the fucking Panthers ain't got a receiver.
A lot of times having the tutelage of an elite cornerback, like what's that guy's name that played for Atlanta last year? Asante. Being behind an Asante Samuel, that's great.
Asante was hurt though. I don't really see. Asante really didn't play like that. I think it was like Robert Alford and fucking Desmond Trufant. I don't really recall fucking Asante being there the whole season.
I don't think that. I mean, like I said, it happens. Like, you can't really, like, the draft is it's not an exact science.
Went, like what, at 4?
Yeah, he went 4.
And fucking Desmond Trufant slid all the way in the 20s.
Yeah.
And they plugged him in as a rookie. He's not a seasoned vet, and he had a season.
But D. Milliner lived up to
the fourth
to the end of that season. By the end of the season, it actually made sense. Like he wasn't a 20 interception guy like Asante, or he's not a high pick.
5.
What I'm saying is he was a high pass deflection guy, just like in college. Like, he didn't get a lot of interceptions, but he was a high pass deflection kind of guy.
Because you know who the best corner was in the draft last year?
Who?
Honey Badger, best corner.
Okay, Honey.
You know where they have him now? At free safety. And it's kind of cheating because they have fucking Cromartie on one side.
Yeah.
And then they have, the bitch ass nigga PP on the other side. But
why you hating on Patrick Peterson? Patrick Peterson is probably
because he's not the best. Everybody keeps saying the best corner here, best corner there. Well, you are not in the same situation as Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman is hands down the best
Richard Sherman is not the best
cornerback in the league. The best man-to-man shutdown corner in the league.
With the 2 best safeties over top. The best corner in the. I'm sorry.
I've been there since day.
The best cornerback in the league is still Darrell Revis. But we're gonna get off of that because you gotta get the rest of these picks. Get the rest of these picks in. Come on,
don't even argue them so we can get back to
I'm not gonna argue them. Come on.
All right, 19, I have Zach Martin, offensive guard. Pretty much self-explanatory. They have no offensive line.
None.
And then at 20, I have Anthony Barr going to the Cardinals because they need a pass rusher. Now, close this shit up. Now, going back to these damn Seahawks. All right, let's say Cam Chancellor is not bad, but at the same time, before last year where Cam Chancellor just fucking bullied everybody, Cam Chancellor was just known for big hitting and coming up to the line of scrimmage and stopping runs. Cam Chancellor was not a roam player, but last year, like, they switched up his role and he was fucking everywhere. But at the same time, they are a cover 1 bump and run team to where Earl Thomas is always over the top and he is helping out Brandon Browner and Richard Sherman is by himself.
I'm sorry.
So I don't understand this best safety shit.
Richard Sherman. They do have the two best safeties.
But at the same time,
they do.
You're not. Cam Chancellor isn't covering. He isn't in a. Let's do Madden terms, because some people don't know what cover twos and man
zones.
Shit, all right. So the deep blue. All right, he's not in the deep blue. He's more like a yellow. Or pink. He comes down to the flats, or he covers the line of scrimmage looking for the runs, or he's in a yellow, which is like a 5 yard, 10 yard zone. He's not in a 20+ yard zone. What they did was a cover one. Brandon Browner constantly, because he's so fucking big and slow, they constantly had to have Earl Thomas over the top guarding this man, helping this man out. So they would just double team whoever the fuck was on Brandon Browner side, and then on the right side, he was by himself.
Like I said, with Richard Sherman being by himself,
Richard Sherman was by himself.
When he was most effective was when he had the safeties over the top. When he was by himself,
he's been most effective in the last 3-4 seasons.
When he was by himself, we had debacles like that Indiana debacle where he was getting killed by what's that?
T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y. Hilton.
All right, it's different. All right,
getting killed over the top by T.Y. Hilton.
All right, it's different from when you're actually just getting killed and when somebody's just fucking faster than you. Okay, if he comes off that jam and he's just outright just flat-footed, just faster than you or whatever, then you can't do nothing about that. I don't understand. Like, that's like saying Julio is one-on-one with somebody, or Julio is double teamed, and Julio eventually is gonna burn people on the street because he's mostly faster than people. Well, T.Y. Hilton is faster.
Okay, and that's fine. T.Y. Hilton is different, but he's gonna take the
same
top.
Shit with Randy Moss. If Randy Moss
greatest
is
receiver of all time,
Steve, we talking about that next too.
We talk about that
Steve
next
Largent
too.
Is the best receiver.
We don't have enough time to talk about that next.
Man,
we're gonna break down this draft. We've already broke down the draft.
Broke it down.
And I'm just gonna say my piece on Richard Sherman. I'm not saying he's not great.
He is the greatest.
I'm just saying
corner.
He's not the best corner. I believe the best corner in the league, the best shutdown corner, man to man, 1-on-1, is still Darrelle Revis. He still holds the title as the best shutdown corner in football. He's earned it. And Richard Sherman hasn't taken it from him.
Richard Sherman,
I'm not saying Richard Sherman
has been the best corner statistics wise. Look at his stats; they speak for itself. And you don't like his attitude? He's like the Floyd Mayweather of football.
I didn't say anything about his attitude.
I'm just saying, like, that's just
nobody. You can't.
He's like the Floyd Mayweather.
What's the point
of
of not saying if you feel like you the best, say that you the best?
Nigga, talk that shit. Darrelle Revis ain't say nothing but on Twitter. My nigga, put the mic in my face. My nigga Richard Sherman to get all in the mic and he'll let you know he the best corner in the league.
The numbers are great. He has nice numbers. Asante Samuel has nice numbers. Like, it's the same thing.
Asante Samuel has good numbers, but look how long he's been doing this thing.
It ain't even just that he's
Richard Sherman has been in the league. That was his third year, and he is amazing. He is immaculate.
I ain't saying all
that, man. I'm finna look up on Urban Dictionary and look up some real shit to let you know how good he is. That's how good Richard Sherman should. He should have his own shit.
He shouldn't have. He should have
his own category. He shouldn't be good, great, or even decent. He should be Sherman.
He is great. He's a great cornerback, but he's not the greatest.
That's what he is.
And that's funny because people, even with all the numbers, you could throw the interception numbers and all that. It's people out there that actually still like Patrick Peterson better than him
because he's an all-purpose. He does everything, special teams.
I still say Darrelle Revis is hands down the best cornerback. The only person that
says Patrick Peterson is good is your sister. And that's because she don't know football.
She's a girl. Most girls don't know football. I wouldn't take their opinion on what.
She just says that because she see him playing receiver, and she see him kick returning and punt returning.
So we just saying.
He runs a 4-3.
I mean, they're just saying he's just the closest thing that we've seen to Deion.
There you go.
It's not that he's the great. It's just the closest thing we've seen to Deion.
So that's why people say Patrick Peterson is not all that, dude.
Patrick Peterson is all right. I'm not gonna.
People say the same thing about Richard Sherman talking about who he guards. Patrick Peterson doesn't guard anybody. He arguably has the best receiver on his team in that division.
And that would make that makes even more. That would make even more sense why Darrelle Revis was actually, why you can say Darrelle Revis is the better.
Randy Moss. That's it.
The only person.
What's the kid name? Brandon Marshall for a minute. Didn't he have him when he was playing with the Dolphins?
I don't know about all that, but he never shut down Moss.
No, he didn't shut down Moss. He didn't shut down nobody, and he didn't have any other receivers in his division. So
he shut down Chad Johnson. He shut down Terrell Owens. Who did Richard Sherman tell? Who was Richard Sherman shut down?
Michael Crabtree.
Who?
Michael Crabtree.
Hold on. Let me say, who?
Man, I'm finna wrap this up because you being disrespectful, man. So,
hold on. Who? No disrespect to Texas Tech, but
that's the end
Michael
of this
Crabtree
sports podcast. You know, I'm your host, Al Edwards.
And I am the black hand of the black door. Your access has been granted, and we are about to fade to black.
And after this today, you know what I'm saying, he might not ever be on another one of my shows because he's talking shit to Richard Sherman like Richard Sherman isn't the greatest. You know, this how I'm gonna end this. LOB.
Fuck Sherman.
LOB.